Hey everyone, welcome back. If you've been scratching your head over the Airbnb host fee change and how it's going to affect your business or your homeowners, you're not alone. This update has thrown a wrench into how a lot of us think about pricing, commissions, and owner relationships. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through an Excel model that lays it all out. Whether you're charging on the gross or the net method, and how to adjust your numbers to keep both guests and owners happy, or at least not surprised. This isn't just about percentages on a spreadsheet, it's about understanding your margins, setting expectations with owners, and protecting your business model going forward. Whether you're already fielding questions from homeowners or just want to get ahead of the game, this model can help you visualize what the fee change means for you. In a minute, I'll share my screen and walk you through an Excel model I built to help our clients visualize the impact for themselves and owners depending on their business model. You'll be able to download it and plug in your own numbers to see how it plays out for your business. Whether you're top line, net, or somewhere in between, this tool will give you clarity on the upcoming impact so you can make a decision. If you're watching this from our newsletter, the download link to the Excel model is right below. And if you're watching on YouTube, check the description for the link. Feel free to pause the video and open the spreadsheet so you can follow along. And if you have questions or feedback after trying it out, drop them in the comment or reply to the newsletter. I'd love to hear how you're thinking about this shift. Quick refresher before we dive in. When I say gross, I'm talking about taking your commission based on the full nightly rate, the top line, also known as accommodation fare, before any platform fees. Net, on the other hand, means you're calculating your commission after subtracting those OTA or channel fees, whether it's Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, or in some cases, Stripe's processing fee. This distinction is huge because how you calculate your commission changes how much the Airbnb fee shift actually impacts you and your owners. All right, let's jump into the model. All right, welcome to the Excel model. I'm going to start by going through our inputs here, and I'm going to say this a few times. I highly recommend you go through and adjust this for your settings. So if you manage in a certain jurisdiction, I recommend you update for that. If you have multiple jurisdictions, I recommend running this for each area or each jurisdiction that you're managing because the impact is going to be slightly different. So up top here in this reservation section, we have what is a typical, could be a typical month of Airbnb reservations. We've got a $300 nightly rent. We've got a $250 cleaning fee, a $55 management fee, which is really like a damage waiver. We've got an average nightly stay of 4 nights and 5 stays in the month. So we're at 20 nights rented. Again, you can change this. You can just look at one reservation if you want. I like to look at multiple reservations because the impact changes depending on the relationship between the nightly rent and your cleaning fees and your damage waivers. So again, please test this out and see how it works for your model. Occupancy rate, I have 10% in here, but again, please adjust this based on your jurisdiction because that will impact the price that the guest is paying. Accommodation fare increase, you can play with this as well. I've seen a lot of different percentages on Facebook being thrown out. It's really going to change depending, again, on your jurisdiction, on your tax rate, on the relationship between your nightly rent and the cleaning fee. We're going to look at in a minute why I have this at 16.1. The channel fee split, right now this is fully going to the homeowner, that 15.5%. We've built a toggle in here so that you can actually split this between the homeowner and the manager if you want. And then we've got our commission formula. So current, this is what we're currently doing, and then new is what we might change to if we want to, or just looking at the impact. We're going to look at net first because that's easier and less changes. Again, that's accommodation fare minus the channel fee times your commission. And then we've got a 20% commission rate. Again, please change this depending on what you're running. Now let's move down to the actual model. We're going to focus on these 3 lines here. The guest payment, the percent change is 0. We've solved that again, that 16.1% is in there, so the guest payment is flat, doesn't change. The homeowner is going to receive a little bit less, 2.2%, and the management company receives a little bit less as well, 1% down. Again, on the net method, you guys are both kind of the homeowner and the PM are moving in the same direction. You're both sharing in that fee increase. So really it's more of just like a messaging exercise and making sure your PMS is updated for those rate changes. Down here, you can see Airbnb earns a little bit more because as you raise your nightly rent, their 15.5% increases. And then taxes, unfortunately, are the big winner here because, again, the tax is based on that nightly rent, really on all the revenue. And so as you increase your nightly rent, again, taxes are going to increase here. So again, not a huge change. Communicate with your homeowner, let them know this is coming, that you've raised the rate to offset this. Now we're going to look at what happens when you are on the gross method. So again, this is accommodation fare times your commission rate. So here again, the guest payment is flat. We've solved for that at that 16% rate increase. However, now your homeowner is receiving 7% less, and you as the management company are receiving 7% more. Reason is because your commission is just on the accommodation fare, and if you're raising that about 16%, you are going to see an increase in your management revenue. It's not equal to 16% because you're still getting the cleaning fee, you're still getting the damage waiver. Those are always coming 100% over to you. So again, it does kind of impact the percentage changes here. Still, Airbnb and taxes are the big winner, but in this case, the management company is as well. So you can also change this. So maybe you want to look at what happens if I go from gross to the net method. So I'm calculating on accommodation fare. Now I want to see accommodation fare minus the channel fee. What happens there? So again, that's going to be the same thing. Your revenue as the management company is going to go down a little bit because it's still higher rates, but you're taking that commission after the channel fees. And then homeowner down a little bit as well. Last toggle we put in here. So this is really, you can look at this either on the gross or on the net. So like what happens if you change the channel fee split? So here, 12% of that 15.5% is being charged to the homeowner, and now 3.5% charged to the property manager. So you can see homeowner, and again, this is on the gross method. Homeowner is about flat, guest is about flat, and then the management company is actually taking a little bit of a hit. Again, that's different if we just look at the full. Here, the management company is going up 7%. Again, you can play with these, update your actual information, play with it, update numbers, update rate increases, see what happens if you charge the guest a little bit more, and see kind of what you're comfortable with. We'll go through, after we jump out of this model, we'll kind of wrap this up, go through some recommendations and next steps. But if you have any questions about the model, please let us know. I'm happy to look at these for your individual situation. All right, I hope that walkthrough helps put the fee change in perspective. The reality is this Airbnb fee change is one of those things that feels small on the surface, but it has ripple effects. And how you choose to handle it, whether you're net, gross, or somewhere in between, isn't just a math decision. It's a messaging one too. Let's talk next steps depending on your setup. If you're on the net model, accommodation fare minus channel fees times commission, good news. There's no structural change required. You're already taking your commission after those channel fees, so the shift to 15.5% doesn't impact your share directly. The main thing is making sure you update your Airbnb pricing, typically through your PMS, so the guest is still paying the same or slightly more, and you're not taking the hit. If you're on the gross model, accommodation fare times the commission, you've got a decision to make. Do you want the homeowner to absorb the full brunt of this fee increase? That might work for some portfolios, but it could raise questions, especially since the 15.5% is charged on all revenue items, cleaning fees, damage waivers, pet fees, you name it. No big deal when it was 3%, much bigger deal now. A savvy owner is going to notice that and wonder why they're being charged Airbnb fees on money you're keeping. So you'll need to decide, do you stay the course with gross? Do you move to net to simplify things? Do you share the channel fee? Maybe 12% to the owner, 3.5% to you? Or maybe some other strategy that honestly I haven't even thought about, but I would love to hear about. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on your owners, your margins, and how much of your volume runs through Airbnb versus other channels. And that brings me to communication. This change will show up on owner statements starting in November, and depending on your booking window, some reservations will have the old 3% and some will show the full 15.5%. That means the next few months could get messy if you're not ahead of it. So make sure you're letting owners know that you're raising rates intentionally to offset the shift and protect their returns. Also, and this is crucial, remind them of the value you bring. Because what's the alternative? If an owner decides to self-manage, they're going to be 100% on Airbnb, most likely, and they're going to be paying the full 15.5% out of pocket. No rate strategy, no optimization, no diversification. You, on the other hand, have a balanced portfolio. If Airbnb is just 40 to 50% of your bookings, you're already protecting them with your direct booking strategy. Talk about those direct booking efforts. Talk about your Vrbo presence, how you're actively managing distribution to keep fees low and margins high. So, bottom line, download the model, plug in your actual numbers, update your PMS pricing for the Airbnb channel, and start communicating now so your owners aren't blindsided down the road. If this video helped, share it with your team or anyone else trying to navigate these changes. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.